Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Spill, a movie night podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea. Film Spill, if you already don't know, is a podcast that comes out every week, and we talk about a movie by a female filmmaker every episode. We also discuss women in the entertainment industry in general. We play slumber party type games, spill entertainment gossip, and get to know each other and our guest. This week, we have a returning guest. Sofia is back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about this awesome film today. We're going to be talking about What a Girl Wants. In 2003. I can't believe this film came out in 2003.
It's literally 20 years. It's 2023 now.
20 freaking years ago.
I know.
That tells you how old we are.
I know. I was like, damn, this feels like it was 7 years ago that it came out.
I know, it really does. Like, just time has been going by so fast. When people say 2015 or like 2016, I'm like counting on my hands. I'm like, wait, holy shit.
I
It was
know,
like 5
right?
to 6 years ago. Yeah.
No, it feels like way less.
It does. It really, I feel like it's still 2019.
Right? I can't do the math in my head when they're like, oh yeah, 2017 was like 5 years ago. I was like, no, that's wrong. I think.
Yeah.
Like I can't like do the math on it. It's weird.
Yeah, no, it's becoming really weird. When now that we've hit these 20s, I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm feeling off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but today we're going to be talking about, like I stated before, Dennie Gordon's romance comedy film. Before that, we're going to be playing our slumber party type game that I've created for us today.
Okay.
So because this is like our 2000 era film, and this is when Amanda Bynes was dominating Hollywood, like
she is
like for real.
Queen. Yes. I worship the ground she walked on. Yeah.
And I finally actually did some research on Amanda Bynes. Like, I grew up watching her on all that, like the Amanda show. Like, who did it? Who fucking did it?
Yeah, right?
But I like did some research. I'm like, okay, how did she start off in film? Like, how did she get recognized? She was, you know, a child star. And I don't know if you've seen the Aaron Carter thing that came out recently on Hulu. Did you watch it?
No, I don't think I did, but like I remember when he passed, I was like, wow, like I was completely shocked by that because he's not that old. I was just like, oh my goodness, like it was really out of left field. I felt really bad about it, but I should watch it. I didn't know about the whatever, the Hulu thing.
Yeah. It's like a one episode documentary about just like what led up to his death. And it's a lot about like childhood stardom in general, and just like navigating Hollywood. And when I think it's known fact now because of everyone who has finally spoken out as a childhood star. They have all pretty much said that, you know, when you don't have a good support system, you end up falling through the cracks. You have a lot of bad influences. A lot of people want to see you fail. And a lot of people struggled, and you still see a lot of childhood stars, right? Childhood stars.
Yeah.
You see them still like struggling. And a lot of them have spoken about like struggling with alcoholism, drug usage,
abuse,
mental health, a lot. And so I think that Amanda Bynes ended up falling through those cracks.
Yeah.
And pretty rapidly. She was young.
Yeah. I remember she was dominating like 2002 to like 2000, maybe 5 or 6. And then I kind of stopped hearing about her. She was an Easy A that came out a while later. I remember when I saw that movie a couple years ago, I was like, she looks a little different in this movie. And I almost didn't even recognize her. And then I heard she had that whole meltdown on Twitter. Do you remember when that happened?
I remember it happened, but I forget what it was about.
I remember she was tweeting crazy things about like Drake and stuff. Like people were like making memes about it. And, you know, she was kind of going through, I think, some sort of like psychotic like break and stuff. And she was going through it on Twitter, and she was just like airing it out online. Just because back then Twitter, like that's when celebrities didn't have like a PR person tweeting for them, you know? So Amanda Bynes was just like, you know, tweeting a bunch of crazy stuff, and like people were making fun of her. And then people stopped hearing about her because she was going through mental health issues. And I just heard I want to say almost a month ago, she checked herself into some sort of rehab facility because she had gone through. Did you hear about that? She
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I heard that she got checked in because they were going to do a reboot on all that and she couldn't be a part of it, but she was going to be. Something like
I didn't
that.
hear about that part. Interesting.
What did you hear?
No, because I just heard randomly that like someone found her on the street, like completely naked, like completely out of her, she had gone through some sort of psychotic break and she broke out of it enough to recognize that she was in distress. And she called not the authorities, but like a mental health institute. Like she called it in on herself, like which is good. I'm glad she was able to recognize that she wasn't okay and is now getting help. I hope she gets the help that she needs because she was such a wonderful person. And, she's not a bad person just because of all the stuff she went through. I remember parents being very judgmental about child star because I remember my parents saying stuff about like Lindsay Lohan and stuff like that. And I was just there. I like her. Like she's cool. Like, that didn't change my image of these people. I still looked up to them and, it's not their fault that they went through what they went through. They didn't have the right people surrounding them. And especially for Nickelodeon child stars, they had it rough because of the whole Dan Schneider stuff. And Amanda Bynes was in a lot of Dan Schneider stuff. So I don't blame her for what she's going through. And I hope, I'm glad she was able to recognize that she's not doing well and she's getting help. I hope she recovers and stuff.
I feel like she's that type of star that later down the line we're gonna get a documentary about her coming clean about everything, especially with like the Dan Schneider stuff. Like I think that there is
someone's gonna make that because there are so many people that have spoken out about it, and there are a lot of people like Josh Peck who defend him, which is crazy. So I want to know.
Serious?
Yeah, did you not hear about that?
No,
because Jeanette McCurdy went on his podcast, and they were talking about that stuff. And she said that she is never going to go back on Josh's podcast and she doesn't want that episode airing, and they agreed to it. And I remember Josh was like talking smack on Jeanette McCurdy about, I don't know what, saying that like, she's not letting us release the episode. So something happened there. So I'm pretty sure that Josh is like not defending Dan Schneider, but like, I guess he probably didn't receive the same treatment from Dan Schneider as these other people. So I don't think he sees it that way and is very defensive about it because he also doesn't hang out with a good crowd. So I'm not really surprised, but yeah, so I feel like someone is going to end up making a documentary about all of this in general, including the people that defend Dan Schneider or like avoid talking about it versus the people that are calling him out constantly. I feel like something's going to happen with that soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would be pissed too if you're here defending one of my attackers.
Yeah. I don't blame her at all.
No, and he probably made her feel uncomfortable too, to the extent where she's like, no, like I'm done.
Yeah, I'm glad he at least followed through with the promise of not airing the episode because, some people will do it anyway and put it up. I'm glad he at least didn't do that.
Because that would make him look like a bigger asshole.
Yeah, and he already looks like one, so he thought better than to
Have you read the book? The Jeanette McCurdy book?
Not yet. I read some sections though online. And oh my God, it's so hard to like stomach. I don't know if I would be able to get through the whole book, honestly, because it's so sad.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes because we all looked up to these people and we all kind of wanted to be them. I don't know if I'm like speaking on behalf of everyone, but we all were like, oh my God, like, it'd be so great to be in their shoes. Like it looks like they're having the time of their lives, but a lot of them have been struggling. Yeah. And like, we have some people who are now advocating towards that, who are trying to change things in the industry, especially for child stars, because there's not enough regulations placed on set for child stars. I mean, if there wasn't then, there really isn't now. Like, I know there's like time restriction, but like they will strip you from everything. At the end of the day, they're just trying to make money.
Yeah, they find as many loopholes as possible.
Hell yeah, they do. Yeah. I mean, that they use twins for a reason. But if they don't have a twin, they'll figure out something.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that star. Her name is like Christy something. She's from Even Stevens. She has a podcast.
Yes. Christy Carlson Romano. Yep.
Yeah, yes. So
I have all of the Disney Channel Nickelodeon knowledge up here.
If I don't know someone's name, I'll just ask you. But she has a podcast that she has recently come out with called The Vulnerable Podcast. Have you heard of it?
I saw she has like a YouTube channel and stuff, and she would have occasionally invite like Disney Channel people on there, but I didn't know she started a podcast.
Yeah, you should definitely listen to it whenever, if you're like driving to work, those like 15 minutes, whatever. It's pretty good. She talks to a lot of child stars that she either worked with or they were like in the same network, like Nickelodeon. Like one of them was on Zoe 101, who played one of the friends, Alexa.
Yeah, she's doing the rounds, you know, calling out what happened on Zoe 101. I feel so bad for her.
Oh yeah, me too.
I feel terrible for what happened to her.
Yeah, I'm like, Victoria Justice as a freaking bully. I don't like her.
And so is, like, what's her name? Jamie Lynn Spears?
Jamie Lynn Spears.
I was like, wow. Yeah. And like none of the higher ups or anyone on crew advocated for this poor girl. Like, it was terrible. She's a minor. Like, you guys are just letting her get abused like this by her castmates. Crazy.
Yeah, did you hear that Britney Spears even yelled at her? Because of Jamie Lynn Spears?
Britney Spears, I feel like, got pulled into it and manipulated it by her sister, because I feel like now with what we know about Britney, I feel like Britney wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, she did apologize. She actually did apologize to her, which is great. But I'm like, where's the apology from Jamie Lynn Spears?
Honestly, that's never coming.
No, it's not.
No.
Bullies, I feel like, are always bullies or envious. Like, I've noticed that my bullies from high school are still this type of people who always watch my shit on Instagram, but never like any of my posts. But they're always the first one to watch my shit. Yeah. I'm like, so bullies are always going to check up on you because they have to have been envious of you for whatever reason. You know?
I think her name is Alexa, the actress that played on Zoe 101. I hope I don't know if she would want anything in return for what she went through, but like, I hope she gets something positive out of speaking out about this, because the cast has not been friendly to her, and they still aren't, because they were talking about rebooting the show, and she came out and was like, fuck you guys for doing this and whatever, and they completely ignored her. I don't know. It just isn't, it's in poor taste. I hope she gets something out of this, because it's not okay. And she's still living with this, you know, it's something she has to live with. I'm assuming, you know, she's a grown woman now. She's been able to, you know, get therapy and like whatever she needs to recover emotionally from that. But it's still something she has to carry for the rest of her life. So I don't know. A lot of Nick stars deserve their flowers, I guess, for, you know, dealing with this, and at the same time being loved by so many people at the same time. Because it's like, back to Amanda Bynes, like, I love her. I had never stopped, you know, being a fan of hers. And even though she's been through all this stuff, like, I look at her old movies and her old shows and I love them. Like, and it's because of her, you know. I hope that people that went through the things that she went through know that they're still like loved by a lot of people that are older now.
Yeah. Let's not forget, like, Amanda Bynes is extremely talented.
Yeah.
Like, she got noticed at a very young age, and she had her own show. Like, not only did she get casted in all that, but then she got her own show, and then she went on to making movies, and then she still had her own like other TV show going on as well.
Oh, so, right. Yeah.
Which I'm going to get to when I quiz you in Guess the Amanda Bynes Era.
Oh, God. Okay.
So we'll see how much you know about the Amanda Bynes era.
Okay. I'll try my best.
All right. This is the first question.
Okay.
This was Amanda Bynes' first feature film. Is it number 1, Big Fat Liar? Number 2, What a Girl Wants? Or number 3, She's the Man?
It has to be Big Fat Liar.
You're right. It
Thank God.
is.
I was obsessed with Big Fat Liar as a kid. Like, genuinely, I love that movie, even though it's probably super corny now. Like, I love Big Fat Liar.
It's such a good classic film to watch. I really
I
like it too. I
know.
used to watch it all the time.
It's so good. I was just like, damn, I want to be in that big prop room that they lived in for a little bit. That looked like so much fun.
I know. And I'm sure like rewatching it now as adults, we'll see things that we didn't even notice as kids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember I saw that movie before I even went to Universal Studios at all. And I realized that like half of the stuff that they do in like the second half of the movie is on the Universal Studios tour ride. And I was like, that's so funny. Like, because I remember the first time I went on it, I was like, wait, this is all from Big Fat Liar. Where am I? Like, I was just like, not, I would like, my brain could only think in that movie at the time when I went to that ride. I was like, hold on, why is this all from Big Fat Liar? What? I don't understand. And like, no one would bring up the movie on the tour. I was like, am I the only one who knows?
Yeah.
Like, so silly.
And then you start getting out your phone and you're like looking up like Big
Yeah,
Fat
I was
Liar.
like, yeah, I was like, I have to be tripping. I was like, how is this all in Big Fat Liar? And then I realized.
Oh my gosh, that movie was so great. That guy who plays he was in Malcolm in the Middle. What's his name?
Frankie Muniz.
He was Frankie Muniz?
Muniz, I think, with an M.
Muniz?
Yeah.
Frankie Muniz. Does he still do anything?
I don't think so. I remember him saying he doesn't remember filming most of Malcolm in the Middle. And I was like, wow. He has like some sort of memory thing, I think. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, he was on and popping too. I watched that. I watched Big Fat Liar, Agent Cody Banks. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Yeah.
Also obsessed with that one. I think I have it on DVD at home somewhere.
Oh my God, I love that. I used to collect DVDs just so I could keep rewatching the same shit all the time.
I don't think I'd ever throw away my Agent Cody Banks DVD. That's a relic. Like, no way.
You can't find that anywhere anymore.
No.
All right, well, that's gonna lead me to the next question.
Okay.
All right. This was the last film Bynes was in before announcing her retirement.
Oh my God. Okay.
Is it number 1, Hairspray, number 2, Easy A, or number 3, Sydney White?
Ooh. It's not Hairspray. God. I think it's Easy A. It has to be.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sophia, you're on a roll.
Because I've seen all of these movies. I'm like, I remember when they came out. So I'm trying to do the math in my head. I was like,
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay.
All right. Number 3. At what age was Amanda Bynes discovered? Is it number 1, 10, number 2, 13, or number 3, 12?
She must have been 10. She was really little.
That is correct.
Oh my God.
She was 10.
That was a guess. Because I was like, she was probably like 13 when she was on the Amanda Show and all that. It was like older. So.
Well, that's the next question.
Oh my God.
At what age did Amanda Bynes get her show, The Amanda Show?
Okay.
Is it number 1, 13, number 2, 15, or number 3, 12?
I'm going to guess middle of the road 13, but I'm not exactly sure.
13.
Oh my
Damn,
God.
Sophia, I'm telling you. Literally, you just like won the freaking game. Okay, there's one last one. All right. If you get this, you win the whole game.
Okay.
All right. What TV series did Amanda Bynes star in from 2002 to 2006? Is it number 1, The Amanda Show, number 2, All That, or number 3, What I Like About You?
My God. I think it's The Amanda Show.
Sophia. No.
I don't remember how old The Amanda Show is because I was really little.
I mean, it is pretty old. I think it started in like the 2000s.
Yeah, that's why I was like 2002. Like she must have still been doing The Amanda Show then, but I don't remember when she started What I Like About You because I know that was the last show she did. So I was like, I don't remember like when Amanda Show ended and when that show started. So I was like, okay, it's one of those.
I think the Amanda Show happened right near the time of All That. Because I remember watching them side by side a lot of the time.
Okay, because when I was watching it, I didn't see a single episode of all that. Like, they had stopped running it on TV. So I don't know when. Like, I have no idea when the two overlapped or not. Like, I have no memory.
Wow, you can still watch the old episodes. I was trying to on Paramount, but it was like frozen. It wouldn't work. So I couldn't do it, but I know that they're on there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I was watching What I Like About You. It's on Hulu. I'm pretty sure.
Is it good? I don't think I ever seen like a full episode.
It's good, but it's cheesy. Like, you can tell it's fake in a lot of scenes that they're in. Like, there was, I think, because I was rewatching it, and this is like the third episode. She's supposed to be on a beach, but you can tell it's like green screen.
Oh,
and it's
like
so
a Hannah
bad.
Montana set.
Yeah, it's like a Hannah Montana set.
Oh my God.
I'm like, damn, that used to be, but we used to like not care watching.
No, like, me either. No.
They're at the beach.
Definitely, I believe it. I still do.
It's okay though. You got the majority of them right.
Yay. That's enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get into the film for this week. So, What a Girl Wants is available to watch on Prime Video, Apple TV, or Redbox, or Vudu. This discussion will contain spoilers for the film, so if you haven't already seen it, go watch and come back afterwards to hear our thoughts. So let's get into the synopsis of this film. When an American teenager finds out her estranged father is a wealthy British politician running for office, she must juggle her newfound relationship with him and her effect on his political aspirations. This was like an OG film. I would always replay this film all the time as a kid. Like, I know the ins and outs of this film.
Yeah, when I rewatched it, I kind of had it on as like background stuff because it's like I know it. I know what's happening. I know the lines. I get it. And it would play all the time on Nickelodeon. Like, they would rerun it like I don't know how many times a month. I would watch it all the time.
A lot. No, a lot of her films, they were just on all the time. Like, I think I saw more of her than I did Lindsay Lohan.
Really?
And did you hear they were kind of like there was a battle going on between I think it was Lindsay
No,
Lohan
that's Lindsay
Hilary
Lohan
Duff.
And Hilary Duff. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm well versed in that. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, what's the tea on there?
There was like this weird beef that they had because they were both like the it girls of the time on Disney. So one of them started, I think Hilary Duff, she had a Cinderella story, right? And Chad Michael Murray is the love interest in that. They dated for a little bit. And then like the next year or 2 years after, Lindsay Lohan comes out with Freaky Friday and Chad Michael Murray is the love interest. And she starts dating him right after that. So there's like a whole thing there. There was I didn't even realize that. And homeboy got caught in the middle. Like, it was just like a whole thing. Yeah. And I remember one of them showed up to the other person's premiere completely uninvited, completely unannounced, like out of spite. Like, it was like a whole thing. I was like, that is so great. I love it so much. Like,
I wonder if they talk now. Like, if they're like civil.
I hope. I mean, it was like petty beef. They were like teenagers. I don't know if I don't know, because they've never done a project together. I would eat it up if they did a project together, because it's like my main three was Lindsay Lohan, Hilary Duff, and Amanda Bynes. They were like they were everything to me. Like, I love them so much. Like, I still watch their old stuff. Like, it's something that I go back to when I'm upset. Like, What a Girl Wants is a comfort movie of mine. Like, I have a lot of comfort movies, but she's on there. She's prominent. Like, whenever need something to, know how it ends, and it ends happy and like, typical. And it reminds me of like
The Parent Trap.
It's
right.
It is a combination of The Parent Trap and The Princess Diaries. It's like it's like the great value version of both of those movies, and I think it's great.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm seeing a lot of films mixed into this film at this very moment. But like, we were all so nostalgic of that same theme. Yeah. We were all like these young children fantasizing about, this is gonna happen to me one day, where I'm gonna have this romance.
Yeah.
because they were so much older than us, but now we're like that age and we're like, that fucking shit doesn't happen.
I know. We're older than some of the characters because Amanda Bynes is like 17 in this movie, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, sure.
And she looks so good. I was like, damn, Amanda.
I know. That's another thing.
I didn't even look like that. I know. I'm like, what the fuck?
The fashion, she ate it up. Fashion icon queen. I love her so much. Like, I could go on and on. Truly.
Yeah.
Her and Lindsay Lohan, fashion inspirations for me to this day. Like,
but both of them very convincing child actors. Like, if you watch them act, you're like, damn.
Yeah. And you know what? I will say Colin Firth elevated this movie to a different level. He did so good in this movie when he didn't have to. He's like an Oscar-winning actor, and he's in this movie, and he was acting. He was performing. Like, it was so good. I feel it's
weird to see where he is now, doing like Kingsman movies, and was doing this like rom-com film back in the early 2000s. But this is like where they're starting. Like, he was just starting off.
I mean, I remember in high school, he did like a BBC thing. It was like a series of Pride and Prejudice. Have you seen his version of Pride and Prejudice before?
No.
It's like it was like something on the BBC, because I remember when we read the book in high school, my teacher was like, we're not watching the Keira Knightley version. I don't like that version. We're going to watch the longer version with Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. So I remember that's kind of old. It's probably from like the early 2000s or the 90s and stuff. And then he was in Bridget Jones and all those. So he started in rom-coms really, because he did Mamma Mia also.
Oh yeah, he did Mamma Mia. I forgot about that.
Love. Like, he is up there for me. Like, he is so great. And in this movie, I feel like it really becomes so much more fun when he's introduced into the movie. It's great. I think he elevates it to a certain level that you don't expect, because this is like a corny, quote unquote, like bad movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, then you think about the whole scenario of like this film, right?
Right.
Like, okay, let's bring it back to like reality. No person, I don't know anyone who would wait 17 years for a mofo to come back and try to scoop her away.
No, because the mom, more patience than anyone I've seen. I don't understand that. I was like, okay, girl, you do you, I guess. Like, if you want it, go ahead. Like, that's all I'll say. But it's Colin Firth. I mean, he's fun.
Yeah. With his British accent.
I know. And it's also the British of it all. I don't know if that was a thing for you, but I thought like British people were like cooler. I don't know why, me being like 5 years old watching this movie, like, oh wow, they have it figured out over there. Like, I don't know. I was just like, not.
There's just like proper, it seems like. I don't know if it's the accent or like it's just me assuming things.
They have a certain charm that
they do.
Yeah. That you're just like, wow, I wish I was in this society, when it's probably very dull and boring. But they make it look so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but then again, too, like, if you find out that your dad is a politician this whole time,
and you're like, where was my child support checks?
And I live in a freaking apartment in Chinatown.
Yeah. No, but you know what? The reveal that she didn't even tell him that she was pregnant with their kid. Like, she never said anything. That was also really surprising to me. I forgot that was like a thing, that she never revealed it to him.
Oh yeah.
And
then they do like the same like mimics together. I thought that was like one of the cutest parts that I forgot about.
Cute. I love it. It was so sweet.
I know. So this film has a lot of like close-ups, and especially a lot of close-ups on Amanda Bynes and just like her expressions, and just like, I don't know. Especially like those types of movies where it is cheesy, it's rom-com. You have to think that like some people tend to not make it believable. Like, you feel the fakeness behind it. Yeah. But I don't know, with her, I don't feel that. Like, I really feel like, I don't know, she doesn't have this awkwardness to her when she acts. Like, it's so gradual. Like, I feel like it just comes naturally to her.
Yeah, I mean, she's accustomed to doing comedy. I feel like it's just a thing that she doesn't even have to think twice about.
Yeah. She got discovered doing like this comedy thing when
Oh,
she first
wow.
started acting. Yeah. A Nickelodeon recruiter found her, and I think it was like this, it's called like Laughing Factory. So you know how like people when they're acting, I did this when I was younger. I did like acting classes, but I guess it's different in every area. I know a lot of acting classes in LA particularly do like these showcases where they bring agents and stuff to like try to get their kids to be signed and seen. That was big in the early 2000s, especially.
I remember people used to come up to you in the mall and be like, hey, here's my card.
Did
that ever happen to you?
I heard about it. That didn't actually happen to me. I did this
that happened
scam.
to me. It's scary. It's scary. I was like, this is creepy. Like, I remember my parents and I being like, what? And we'd throw the card in the trash like after they leave, because we're like, I don't trust you. Like, it was really ugh. But that was really common back then. I heard a success
story about that though.
Really?
Yeah. So I was listening to this podcast. She's actually an influencer now.
Oh, wow.
And she's like a big model influencer. So she said that she was approached by someone at the mall in like Connecticut, and she got a card and she started modeling. She moved to New York because New York is big on modeling. Grew her modeling and is now like, she's still model. She's still like a big freaking model just because she got approached to at the mall. And she was like, I guess I could do this. And started like at the age of 16.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I'm glad it worked out for her. It used to creep me out as a kid because I was like 5 or 6 and they were coming up to me and my parents at the mall.
Wow.
Yeah. It happened to me like 2 or 3 times.
I would hear a lot of those, like, do you want to be on Disney Channel?
No, come literally, they'd be like, they'd come up to me and be like, do you like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? And I'd be like, yeah. Like, it's kind of a little creepy that I don't know, like, looking back, I was like, I was uncomfortable back then, but now looking back, it's even creepier.
Yeah, now thinking about, like, because we're so innocent that we don't think about people's bad intentions.
Yeah.
And now as adults, we're like, hell no.
Yeah.
We're not about that. But yeah, I got scammed with one of those shits.
Yeah, it's not a safe thing to pursue.
No, it's not. And it didn't get me anywhere. So don't waste your money. Hey, it's nice to know what's going on in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I love the drama and suspense.
It's fun.
It is. But let's get into Dennie Gordon and who Dennie Gordon is about. So when I looked into Dennie, she's fucking killing it right now. So not only is she a film director, but she also directs a lot for television. She's been doing a lot of both.
Oh, yay. I'm glad.
Yeah. I know a lot of people stick to like one or the other, but she tends to fluctuate a lot. Yeah. So she was born in Minnesota. She was the first female graduate of Yale's MFA in the directing program. So that's amazing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
A rough cut of her film, A Hard Rain, which she wrote and directed, gained the attention of Steven Spielberg, who showed it to George Lucas, who donated the film's mix at Skywalker's Ranch. It went on to win at the British Short Film Festival and the Hamptons Film Festival.
Wow. Yes. That's really impressive.
I'm telling you, killing it. So Gordon is highly sought after television and commercial director. So TV credits include Dawson's Creek, Everybody Hates Chris.
No way.
Yeah. 30 Rock, Grace and Frankie, Legend, and Jack Ryan. Yeah. A lot.
So she's done a lot of different stuff. That's awesome.
It's always working.
Good for her. I had no idea because I remember I went a lot of years not knowing anything about the movie just because I'd watch it and I'd change the channel, Yeah. And then when I started rewatching it when I was older, I was like, oh, it's directed by a woman. Who is this? And I would look it up and be like, oh, she hasn't done like a lot of movies. So I don't know if she's still off and popping, but she is. And I'm glad. I love that.
I think because also it's a faster turnaround when you're working on TV than you are for film. So just people tend to do that because like you have to have patience to make a film.
Yeah.
So if you are that type of person who loses patience on things quickly, it's just better to direct for television. But I mean, everyone does their thing.
Yeah. And she seems to be killing it, so I'm glad.
Exactly. She was the first American woman to direct a film for the domestic Chinese market for My Lucky Star in 2013, and it was the #1 film in China for 4 weeks.
Wow. In China too, because they're really strict about like what they put out in theaters over there. That's really cool.
Yeah. She met their Rex.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's awesome.
So some background on the film. Let's get into the facts. So this film was released April 4th of 2003. I know. I was like, wait, if I was born 1997, 8, 9, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, I was 6.
I was like a couple months away from turning 4 when that movie came out.
Oh, wow. We were like babies.
Yeah. I think I've only ever seen it on TV. Like, I don't think I went to go see it in the theater, probably.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't. But this film, it felt like, I don't know, I felt like we were older and like it didn't come out in 2003. But a lot of things at the time when cable was like still a thing for everyone, a lot of shows were always on replay and a lot of films were always on replay, especially on the weekends. They would do like those like long runs of just like films and stuff.
Yeah.
The entire production, apart from one scene, was shot in London, including the New York scenes, which is pretty interesting. But it is cheaper to film in London, so I mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, why not? I would shoot freaking London too. So Colin Firth and Kelly Preston's second wedding in the film was shot in Morocco. So that
no
was
way, really?
there.
That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I thought it could have been like a green screen, but it was too good to be a green screen.
Yeah, no, I was like, maybe they just built a set on somewhere nearby and made it look different. But that actually being that's kind of a slay for a 2003 Amanda Bynes movie. Like, are you joking? That's awesome.
They probably saved a lot on location and they're like, fuck it, let's go to Morocco.
Yeah, for this one shot.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. People do it all the time. Yeah. And props to you people who go above and beyond just for that one shot.
I know.
The film grossed $50 million against a $25 million budget. So they made back their money.
Yeah.
The screenplay was written by Jenny Biggs, also known for The Greatest Showman, and Elizabeth Chandler, also known for The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 1 and 2.
Awesome. I love that. Those are also really good movies.
That's why it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, writers are so needed. Like, I don't know how much more to stress it out. Like, they are the soul creators. Like, without a script, there wouldn't be a movie.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Especially when you're so freaking good at like storytelling. Like, some of these writers,
it's like me not being a writer. I don't know how they do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a talent.
That's how I feel.
I can't possibly fathom.
My brain is not there, and I don't know if it's just age, but I definitely don't have the same brain mentality in like certain things anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Before the release in the United States, the original movie poster featured Amanda Bynes gesturing with a peace sign.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, the controversy.
Yeah, because it's like to avoid political statements due to the invasion of Iraq in the United States.
So silly to think about that they changed just because she's going like a peace sign. It's so funny.
And then I think because the American flag was like kind of in the movie poster as well.
Yeah, because it's like she's wearing like a shirt with or something, right? Is it a shirt with the American flag? Because I know she has like 2 of those London guards behind her. I forgot though.
Yeah, me too. But I know it's the colors of like the flag. Yeah, she does have the. Oh, look! I think it does show the original. If you look at it now, they put the original. Wait. Oh.
Yeah. The controversy's over. It is not a big deal. Like,
yeah. She got long fingers. Like, mine looks so chubby when I do it.
I know. Like, it's like they photoshopped it weird, but you know,
they did.
That's history.
I know, right? So Bynes said she was originally drawn to the role because of Colin's attachment to the project. So Amanda and Colin both bonded on set and spent time outside of shooting to practice their father-daughter similarity moments, such as the breakfast scene, which makes sense of why it's so good.
I love that they spent time together. That's so sweet.
So don't get me wrong, like I know it's like a father-daughter thing, but some scenes I'm like, this feels like another situation.
No, because I was thinking about that today, but I was like, I'm gonna ignore it because I love this movie. I'm gonna ignore it. Like, it's not there. But you're kind of right. Like, I'm in denial about it, but you're right.
It looked a little bit more like
towards the end, especially. Yeah, towards the end. I was just like, Again, I'm in complete denial. So
yeah, no, I feel you. I'm like, yeah, like towards the end when they're having the father-daughter dance.
Yeah, I was like, this could have been a wider shot. I think that's the problem with it.
There was a lot of close-up shots.
Yeah, like I get it, but I was just like, I don't know. There was something about that scene where I was like, this is just a teeny bit awkward, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when she cuts off and she calls him dad, it becomes like normal again.
Yeah, because she has to say dad. She's like, let me remind everyone that he's my father in this.
Yeah, like I think that's what saved it, because if it went on any longer, it would have been weirder. So, but I mean, the rest of the movie's fine, thankfully. And it's not, I didn't pick up on any of like that energy, thankfully. But yeah.
Oh, you know where else I caught the energy?
Where?
When he goes downstairs to like the kitchen or whatever, and he turns on the light and she's like,
oh, she's like eating
cereal.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, she's there eating. And yeah, when they have that little moment.
Really? You caught energy from that?
I don't know.
I thought it was normal.
Maybe it's me.
I mean, a little bit. I know she's not trying to be flirty. Like, that's definitely not, but he's so awkward in front of her. I think it's just his awkwardness of not knowing how to be a parent could be read in a different way. Because that's mainly the reason why he acts like that around her, because he doesn't know how to be a parent. Because he has a stepdaughter, but she's grown. He didn't have to, and he doesn't even like her. So it's like, now that he actually has a kid, he's like, okay, how do I go about it? But I don't know. I can see how that can be like read in a different way. I didn't pick up on it, but I could totally see why you did.
Speaking of the stepsister, there was a moment where I forgot like the sleigh moment that happened in the film where she has to get ready for the ball and she comes in, she's like, don't take my man. She's like,
no, and
first off.
Yeah. She's like, what would make you think I have the same taste in guys? She ate that up. She ate that up. I was like, you tell her.
Yeah, you tell her.
She was gagged. She was like, why would she say, like, girl, she did not know who your man was until you said his name. But thank you for letting her know. Like,
I know.
What?
I was like, obviously he was all over her and she didn't even want him.
I know. And it's like, she didn't even know who he was before she even mentioned it. Because she walked through that fashion show and he liked her, but she didn't say anything. She didn't do anything. She didn't even react to him.
The fashion show.
That was such a, oh my God. Everything about this movie, it's so iconic. It's so good. Like, again, comfort movie. I love every part of it.
I know. You know what's so cheesy too? The moments where she's like laughing, but the audio of it is like too much.
No, the ADR in this movie is terrible. It is terrible. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, the ADR is gonna suck. Like every time I press play, I'm like, I forgot that the ADR is so bad. Like it's like the only thing in this movie where I have like actual complaints. like I'm just like,
is the ADR,
because it's like you can obviously see that their mouth isn't moving. And there's someone talking, and I'm like, you couldn't fix this? Like, you went to Morocco, but you couldn't fix this? Like, okay.
I know. You spent plane tickets to Morocco and
you couldn't fix the ADR?
Oh
my God. Yeah, that's like my one complaint with this. It's just so blatantly obvious.
Yeah, it is. You know what I was trying to catch, too, to see if she actually was the person on the motorcycle? Like those motorcycle scenes. Yeah. I was trying to see who her stunt double was, or if she used it. I'm like, I don't know, because I couldn't find anything.
She's wearing that helmet like the whole time, so you can barely tell.
Yeah. But now that they've
but
been
it's
catching
definitely
all these...
not Colin Firth driving that motorcycle. That's for damn sure. That's the one thing I know for sure.
No, definitely not. Oh my God, this film is great. The title of the film is reference to Christina Aguilera's 1999 song "What a Girl Wants," but however, the song isn't used in the film, but I always reference the song and the film together. I'm like, what a girl wants.
I didn't know that it was a direct reference to it, honestly, because I always thought about the song, but I thought like, oh, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah,
but I guess not.
Guess not. Guess they took that into consideration. Oh, Christina Aguilera. She too was that Queen Bee era.
Yeah, they were all off and popping back then. It was crazy.
Okay, let's get into the cast. So we've already talked about Amanda Bynes. She's obviously the main character of the film. She plays Daphne Reynolds as an American teenager who decides to fly to England to meet her estranged father, Mr. Colin Firth. He plays Lord Henry Dashwood. Lord Henry.
Amazing.
So he's obviously Daphne's estranged father and the candidate of the House of Commons in England, which at the end of the film, he decides to withdraw from his candidacy because he actually wins, not thinking that he is going to win, but he wins. And he goes and he does like the best part of the entire freaking movie when he's like on his boat.
Before he actually did the King's speech is my thinking.
I love that. But he does that whole romantic boat scene to get his family back that they've been waiting all along for. And it only took Daphne to go to freaking England for this to happen. So Kelly Preston, she plays Libby Reynolds, Daphne's loving single mother and estranged illegitimate wife of Henry. She's barely seen. I forgot how much she's like barely seen in the film.
I know.
Anna Chancellor, she plays Glynis, who is Henry's fiance and is hostile. She's like an overbearing stepmother. That's why it feels like you're watching Cinderella, because you're watching like the evil stepmother
or
and the
Parent
evil
Trap
stepdaughter.
Or something like that. Yeah,
exactly. And then Christina Cole, who plays the daughter, who is like the evil stepsister.
Yeah.
So a little like plot, I guess we can like go into like the plot of like kind of what goes down. So after graduating high school, Daphne decides to find her father, right? She's been hearing these stories all along about her father, and she decides like, this is the time to do it. So Henry, Daphne's father, disclaims a seat in the House of Lords to run for the House of Commons in hopes of becoming the prime minister. He is being pushed to act by his political advisor, All-Star Payne, who then we find out later is like, he knew person. All along. Yeah, he knew all along that Daphne's mom was pregnant.
That was crazy, honestly. That's kind of a huge reveal in a kid's movie. I remember when I saw it, I was like, right, he knew all. Like, I always forget that he knew all along. Like, I always forget. And then I'm surprised every time.
Yeah. I know. I'm always like surprised. I'm like, he knew.
And he's also another really successful British actor. This is Jonathan Pryce. He's been in a lot of movies.
Really?
Yeah. He's famous. I've seen him in other movies.
No, I have to check that out. I have to see where else he's been in. I haven't
He's like a character actor, kind of like Stanley Tucci. He's been in a lot of, he's always in a movie somewhere. He's one of those.
He's one of those.
Yeah.
He like doesn't play the main person usually. He always plays like, the side person.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, doesn't that suck though when you're always the side piece?
I know, but hey, they're successful. And they always get a call back. It pays the bill.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Sometimes it's good not to be like the main character, to like hold the weight of the show on your shoulders pretty much.
Exactly.
Oof. So shortly after arriving in London, Daphne meets Ian, a local musician, and they start a romantic relationship. Oh, Ian, he doesn't even act anymore. Whoever plays Ian
he doesn't act anymore.
He doesn't do anything. Like, that was his last big thing.
Oh my God. I mean,
the hair.
The hair. The singing. It was not. Yeah. I'm sorry to whoever plays Ian. I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but the singing wasn't great. And she's like, oh my God, that's so good. Like, I love it. It's so great.
And how, like, okay, so this is when the stepsisters, like, love interest is, like, trying to dance with Daphne, and she's, like, pulling away.
And she turns around, he's there. He's ready.
And he's there.
And I'm like, oh, yes.
Ian. And then she, like, stands there, and she's like...
And he's singing, and I'm like, girl, he's not all that. But okay, I'm happy
he's not even cute.
They don't have a lot of chemistry, honestly. I feel like there wasn't a lot of time for them to really, I don't know, have a interesting relationship. But, you know, it was fine. I've seen worse. So.
True. They did what they could.
Yeah. And you know what? Iconic slay. I love them both.
Yeah, exactly. So then Henry catches Daphne at his estate. She explains the situation, and he's shocked to learn that he has a daughter. His mother, Jocelyn, welcomes Daphne. So Jocelyn's, like, the only person who really accepts Daphne from the family. And then besides him, like, he obviously wants to have this daughter-father relationship. They confirm her story with Daphne's mom via phone. I'm like, okay. So they're confirming over the freaking phone. She calls him, like, gradually. Like, so she's had his number this whole time. Been able to contact him. Her. Oh, he calls her?
Yeah, he calls her first. And she answers the phone. She's like, hello. And he's like, so were you not going to tell me? And she's like, what, like, it's not like you were going to come after me. And it was like a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's had the number the whole time.
Pickle man.
Or maybe she gave it to him. You know, but still, like, fuck.
I don't know.
People waste time. This movie tells you don't waste any time. Get what you want. Fight for your love. And then Henry decides to embrace his chance at having a daughter. However, this causes complications when the British public aren't accustomed to an American teenager's behavior. And this is where we see, like, the corniness happen, but we also start seeing her changing because she finally starts adapting to, like, to make him happy.
Yeah.
And then you see, like, the newspapers of her, like, standing, like, being all
proper, meeting the queen and everything. Yeah.
She meets the queen.
She falls in Prince Charles's lap. Like, it's so great. I love it.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, I didn't even realize the comparison. I'm like, I'm so oblivious, and now it makes sense. So at her coming out party, Daphne overhears Alistair telling Glynis how he orchestrated the separation of Daphne's mother and Henry. So Daphne confronts her, and then she throws locks on her in another room. So she, like, locks her into another room.
At her own birthday, or not her birthday, like a coming out party for, like, a debutante thing.
Yeah, just
her own party.
Her own party, just so her daughter can dance with Henry and have a father-daughter dance.
Yeah.
It was some weird shit.
Yeah. And that conflict gets resolved very quickly, might I add.
Yeah, it does.
Her mom gets her out of the room very quickly.
Yeah. And then, so Daphne's mom, who's flown over to the party, frees Daphne. She runs into the party, but sees Henry dancing with Clarissa. So, yeah. So once Daphne's mom comes in and rescues her, they walk into him dancing with Clarissa.
Heartbroken.
But, like, she's heartbroken, but he doesn't even want to dance with her. And then she rejects the person she became to impress others and announces she's going back to America. So this is, like, her taking herself back. Like, I love the symbolism behind this. Like, I'm not going to customize myself to anyone.
Like, you should love me as your daughter for who I am. Like, I shouldn't have to change that.
Exactly. And it's true. And it's so true. At a press conference, then Henry announces he's withdrawing from the House of Commons. And he leaves, and then Henry finds out the reason for his and Daphne's mom's separation. He also breaks off his engagement to Glynis. And then back in America, Daphne and her mom are working at a wedding. Henry shows up and asks Daphne to dance with him during the father-daughter dance. And this is the moment that, like, it's like that build-up. Because in the very beginning of the film, we see her watching a father-daughter dance, which is her, like, reminiscing something that she desperately wants to have. And she finally gets that at the end of the film, which is another, like, turn of, you know, circumstances, but makes for a great happy ending.
Yeah, it's so, like, cheesy.
It is. And
but
then
it works.
he brings Ian to America too.
Oh, I was just like, he's such a great dad. He didn't even like Ian like that. And he brought him anyway. So
wait,
funny.
you know what part I forgot too? When he starts dancing in front of the freaking mirror.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Colin Firth was acting like he was doing so good. He's really good at comedy. Like I've always thought he was really funny. Like he's good in drama and everything like that. He's very versatile. But I don't know. I've always thought of him like as a comedic kind of like he has, you know, he's a very stoic British person. So seeing him be funny is great.
Yeah. It's nice to see when people like when especially like actors can be so versatile and they can like switch up so quickly and you see what they're good at, especially when they're good at comedy.
Yeah, because it's like then you're not typecasted. You can do anything. And I feel like there are a lot of, especially male actors, I feel like they get typecasted into very specific roles. I feel like that doesn't happen a lot with women. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But like I feel like Colin Firth has been able to evade that pretty well. Because people like Chris Pratt, he went from being a comedic actor to only strictly doing serious action fighting man movies, and he's not even that good at it. Like I see him more as a comedy actor. And
that's like seeing Seth Rogen in like Marvels.
Exactly. That's how I'm seeing it. I don't know, like because Parks and Rec is one of my favorite shows. So that's when I discovered who Chris Pratt was. He got beefy for Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's a funny movie, so it worked. But then he got like Jurassic World and like all these random man with gun shows. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a guy with a gun fighting someone. Like born back in the day, because honestly, my love for Andy Dwyer remains, and I think it always will. But but he's been typecasted to a certain thing, and like people like Colin Firth, he's been able to evade that, because I've seen Colin Firth be funny. I've seen him in really dramatic stuff. I've seen him in action. Like he's done a lot. Like he's been able to show his talent very well.
Yeah. Well, there's a few, like Adam Sandler. He was just seen for comedy for a really long time until Uncut Gems came out, and they're like, oh my god.
Yeah. And that must be really frustrating for someone who wants to try different stuff.
So a lot of themes that were played out throughout the film were staying true to yourself and family love versus greedy love, which we see with like Glynis and them just wanting power and them just using Henry as like a sort of status. And we see that at the end of the film where she ends up remarrying the father of like Peach and Plum.
Yeah. and the daughter, she ends up with her man also.
Yeah. I know.
Which I'm like, okay, if that's what you wanted, you got it. Like, you can sit in that now. Just a solid, like a little bit over 90-minute movie. That's just good. You know, like it's just good, nostalgic fun, at least for me.
It is such a great.
So
really,
dude, like with these kinds of movies, with What a Girl Wants and like most Lindsay Lohan movies and The Princess Diaries and stuff like that, I come back to them like at least once a year. Like when I say they're comfort movies, I'm being dead serious. Like it's something that I hold near and dear to my heart for, I don't know why. It's just something I used to watch a lot and I can't let go of it. And they hold up, so that's nice.
That's how I feel about with Matilda. Matilda finally came out on Netflix and it hasn't been on any streaming services.
Oh,
so now, oh my god, now that it came on, it's trending right now still. But I grew up watching Matilda like over and over again because I wanted to be her. I wanted to have the powers. Like I wanted to have her look and her style. Like I loved her style. She's actually on that Vulnerable podcast. I have to listen to the episode. So she talks about being a child star too. But yeah, that's a movie that I know what happened. I know the ins and outs of it, but I freaking love it so much. And it's a touching story. It's like, it makes me cry all the time. Like A Walk to Remember, that shit's finally on Hulu too.
I've never seen that one. They're
coming out with all the good ones.
Oh my god.
I know
that one's sad. That's probably why I didn't watch it.
You have to. It's so sad. It makes me cry every freaking time. But that one is another one of my favorites. Like Matilda and A Walk to Remember. Like those are my top two like comfort movies that I can.
Wow, my list
gets
very long when it comes to comfort movies. It's a problem because I have this one, Princess Diaries. I have A Cinderella Story, the one with Hilary Duff and the one with Selena Gomez. Hits. They're both amazing.
Forgot about the Selena Gomez one.
That one is such a deep part of my psyche. You don't have no idea. Like the dance that they do, the mirror dance scene, one of the best things I've seen put to the screen. I'm not even
when
kidding.
You said that film, I was like the mirror dance scene. Like literally that's what
it's the scene. It's the scene. It is so good. I'm like, I wanted to be just like her in that movie.
I freaking love Selena still.
Yeah, like oh my God, her style in that movie, I still aspire. Like, it's so embarrassing, but it's true. Like, all of these movies that kind of came around the same time, it's just like, I haven't been able to really let them go. So it's like, I still go back and I watch them all the time. So yeah, my comfort list movie is very long. And this is just one of them.
Well, it's nice to feel like that nostalgicness when you're rewatching films because it's like it brings you back to like memories.
Yeah, and it's just something that like I don't know, it makes you feel a little bit cozy, you know, like when you're laying in bed and you're like, I just want to turn my brain off and watch something that I know I like.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good thing to fall back on.
Seriously, because sometimes you be scrolling through like all the streaming services. You're like, what the do I
and
watch?
You're like, I don't want to watch something I know is going to make me upset or that I don't know what's going to happen. Like, give me what a girl wants, you know? Like, I know I'm going to like it. So
I know I'm going to be happy at the end of the film.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's great. I definitely think that you should watch What I Like About You and tell me what you think.
I know. I've always debated on watching it, but I probably will at some point. I know Penn Badgley guest stars on like an episode of it. And I was like,
really?
Oh my God, I should. Yeah, he does. He's like
oh
really
my God.
baby in it. Like he's really young. Yeah.
He does look young. Okay, so I rewatched Gossip Girl like a few years ago. And oh my God, he looks like a freaking child.
Well, in What I Like About You, I saw a screenshot. He looks even younger than that. He looks so young. Like I barely recognized him. But yeah, he's on there for like an episode, I think.
Oh my God. He hasn't aged poorly, but he's definitely aged. And I'm like, damn, like that's gonna be us one day where we're looking back and we're like, damn, we've aged.
I know. I mean, he still looks really good. I have a little bit of a crush on him, so that's why I watch Gossip Girl. But I don't watch You because I don't want to picture him like that. So I don't watch. Are you
serious?
No, I don't watch it.
Oh my God.
I'm a Weenie Hut Junior. I can't. I can't. Like I'm very squeamish. I get like freaked out by stuff like that.
Then yeah,
I can't. And also it's like I like him as an actor. Like I don't want to see him be mean and evil. Like he's already an asshole on Gossip Girl. That's enough. Like I don't want any more of that. Like
he already is Gossip Girl.
Yeah, like I don't need any more of it. So
no, it's nice to see where all of them have started out. Like sometimes I forget what films that they were in, even as like background characters. I'm like, oh shit, he's
in Easy A too, and they're Amanda Bynes, and I'm like, wait, he's in this. Like I freaked out when I first saw it. I was like, no way, he's in this too. Like I was so excited.
Thank you guys for listening. This has been Film Spill, a movie night podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. All are at Film Spill Pod. Tell a friend about the podcast if you like, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That will help other people find Film Spill too. And Sophia, would you like to plug anything in?
I mean, I'm not really doing much. Like mostly plug in Film Spill because I do we're doing social media together for Film Spill. So just follow us on there.
Yes, check out Sophia's reels on our Film Spill page as well as our TikTok, and that's why you all should follow us on both platforms
and YouTube. We post them on YouTube too.
And YouTube, the full length episodes are there as well, thanks to Sophia. Sophia is killing it right now. But catch us doing more Film Spill stuff too.
Until next time, don't cry over a spilled film.